The only thing standing between you and your dreams is embarrassment. What's holding you back? You have these deep desires within yourself to live a certain type of life. And you're watching this video because you're not there yet. You're living a life that is not your own. Somebody else built it for you and you were just following their blueprint. But you have this blueprint in your mind of the life that you would like to live. And maybe you're not fully admitting that to yourself. Maybe you're a little bit embarrassed or shameful about it because for whatever reason, when you were growing up, you were told that it wasn't feasible, it wasn't realistic, that what you were doing was out of your mind, that what you wanted was you're out of your mind for wanting what you want. But the truth is, that is not the truth. We come into this world to be and play a certain role. We were born in the bodies that we were born in the societies that we live in the cultures that we live in, to be conditioned and then experience a point of awakening and return to the person we are supposed to be in this lifetime. And that deep desire that you feel within yourself, that is the person you are supposed to be, that is itching and clawing and trying to reach the surface. And it's only when you start to listen to who it is that you're supposed to become that you start living. You start living the life that you were put on this earth to live. And you start acting out and building the blueprint of this ideal life that you have in your mind. And I know this more than anybody because I am going through this journey and have been going through this journey the past couple years of awakening to who I really am, even though it was showing up in every action that I did without me being conscious of it. And eventually I became aware of it because it was itching and crawling and scratching at the surface, trying to be heard, screaming. And it would scream in ways that were destructive to my life, that I had built, that wasn't my life. And so you can either let that inner you destroy the life you have violently, or you can listen and work with it to deconstruct your life peacefully and build a better system for yourself. I was a person that was raised to think I could only be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer in life, otherwise I would not be successful. So I went to engineering school, I became a tech consultant, and throughout my whole journey away from my true dreams and desires, I was always subconsciously working towards those desires. I had always wanted to be a musician and a dancer. I'm a person that has always just loved music and felt it more than my peers around me. It's something that I've used throughout my life to cope with the hard times. It's something I've used to share my emotions and feelings and express them in a way that I just could never with words. It's something that has recurred throughout my life, and I would not be here if it weren't for music. It's something that has kept me alive and kept me wanting to stay alive. And I didn't want to realize this as a part of myself for the longest time because I thought it was interfering with the goals that I had set to be an engineer. And in a lot of ways it was, but the thing was, the engineering, that wasn't my dream. And so I had lived and built out a life that was someone else's blueprint until I became awakened to the fact that who I really am is not the life that I was living. And so I took all these steps within life to slowly deconstruct the life that I had built that was not my own, and in replacement of that life, construct a life that I am proud of and that I love and that I wake up every day and I'm excited to live and I'm excited to work towards the goals that I have. And in doing so, I realized that I carried a lot of shame in myself for having goals, these secret dreams of being a musician, of being an artist and a creative. I carried a lot of shame about that because if I didn't carry that shame, I wouldn't have been able to make it through engineering school. That I had learned to like build a hatred for creative expression because I thought that was destructive to the identity I had built. And so you may be having this inner voice itching and crawling at yourself. You may be having these desires that you're embarrassed about because for whatever reason in your upbringing and in your conditioning, you learned that it was destructive to your life to have the desires that are truly yours. And so you disown them. Maybe you created a separate identity, a secret identity. Maybe you only let those desires come out in certain ways. Maybe you built fantasies about those desires and you can only live them out in certain ways that are not to their fullest potential. And I'm here to tell you that now is the time. You're watching this video and you know that it's time to let go of that embarrassment that you have, that shame that you have tied to your desires, and to live them out, to stop suppressing them, and to bring the visions that you have in your head into the real world, because the world needs them. The world needs to hear your voice. You would not be given a voice if the world did not want to hear your voice. But there's part of you that's not ready to be heard. And what I've been learning in my journey is that the only way to allow yourself to be heard is to start speaking in front of people. Whatever that means for you, if it's singing, to sing in front of other people, to stop living it as only a fantasy, but find those baby steps you can take to show your nervous system and show your body that it's okay to do the things that you need to do. For the longest time, I was scared of singing in front of other people. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to sing in front of other people because I was scared they were going to judge me, because I was holding on to this deep, dark desire within my mind that I was going to become that one day. And because I was holding on to that image in my mind and not acting upon it, the gap between where I wanted to be and who I was in the past was so large that I couldn't accept that, and I couldn't admit it to myself. So I just pretended like it's not something that I wanted. I thought I didn't deserve to take up space in front of a microphone. And those are not the case at all, but those are judgments that I had in here that I was projecting onto myself. And so what I did is I slowly started practicing by myself to the point that I felt comfortable and confident doing it in front of other people. And then I'd start doing it in front of my friends who I knew wouldn't judge me. And then I started doing it in front of acquaintances. And I started doing it more and more and getting those reps in and showing my body and my nervous system that it was okay. And through that action, through that practice, I was able to show myself that there's no need to be embarrassed. Even posting videos like this on the internet, for me, the longest time I had dreamt of it. When I was a kid, I used to watch YouTube videos and be like, yeah, one day I'm going to do that. But for 10 years, I didn't do that because I would film videos and not post them. Why? Because I was scared of what other people would think about me. And I was judging myself in doing that. I was embarrassed. But the thing is, now that I know myself, now that I know the values that I have and the vision that I have and the things that I want to say, because I'm so confident in that, I'm so confident that I have a voice that I need to use, that helps me get through the embarrassment of sitting in front of a camera by myself in my home and just like talking to nothing, which would have felt foolish a while ago. But now I know that the embarrassment of doing this is not even worth the payoff that it has provided me. Through doing this, I'm able to learn more about myself. I'm able to develop my thoughts better. I'm able to world build what is going on in my mind and iterate on the belief system that I have. I'm able to see myself like this is a mirror getting held up to me. When I go back and I edit these videos and I watch them and I see, like listen to the things that I have to say and view my own content from a consumption standpoint instead of a creating standpoint, I start to see the flaws. But because I've removed that embarrassment that I held on to and that shame that I had, I can look at myself objectively and look at my ideas objectively and see what I need to improve on and start to improve upon those things. But it's only when I'm able to put myself out there and hold a mirror up to myself that I can do that. So I know you have a vision, you have dreams, and there's part of you that's scared of going about putting them out there because you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe someone's going to judge you. I've had people comment not really nice things on what I've had to say. But I learn when that happens, that's okay. Like, it shows me more about the world because we all have differing perspectives. And those people that disagree with me just don't come from the same background that I do. And they don't understand what I'm trying to say. They don't understand my perspective. And you know what that means? Is that maybe I have things that I can improve upon as a person trying to communicate a certain point across that I don't yet know how to do, that I can work on. And so in that way, it shows a mirror to myself. And when you learn to take your ego out of it, when you learn to remove the personal hits, like nothing is personal. So when people disagree with me, it's not I'm a bad person. It's just like their perspective doesn't agree with my perspective. And if I have a certain goal of conveying a message, then I can take that feedback and learn that I need to convey the message better or in a different way or try different things. And if that's not my goal, if my goal is just to express myself and I'm so confident in what I'm saying that I don't think anything is wrong with it, then what they're saying in disagreement with me doesn't really affect me because it's not personal. Nothing is personal. And that's something I've learned from holding this mirror up to myself. And I think it's difficult because when you're a part of a group of people that are traditionally marginalized, especially if you're a part of a group of people that are marginalized, whether it be through your race, your gender identity, your socioeconomic background, whatever it is, you have been taught by society that your perspective doesn't matter as much as the mainstream perspective or the strong holding perspective, but that's not true. It's not true. And chances are you hold a lot of shame and embarrassment around the things that you believe and the things that you want. And so you've built this second identity to kind of code switch or blend into society a little bit better. But that's not what we need. That's not how we make change in this world. That's not, because the only thing that's constant about the universe is change. And we are in a huge time of change right now. And in order to make change, you have to use your voice. We have to have voices that are different from the mainstream voice speak up. Now's your time to learn how to use that voice. And the only thing that is getting in between you doing that and where you are right now is the embarrassment, and you have to let go of that. It's not as bad as it seems, I promise. Maybe the first few times it'll be difficult, but once you get through that initial shock, it doesn't even register anymore. And if you can get through the embarrassment of posting videos online, think about all the other things in your life that you will find out you are capable of, because you're not scared of embarrassment. You're not scared of judgment. You're not scared of what other people will think about you. And you can do it unapologetically. Think about all the people right now who are being themselves unapologetically that do align with the mainstream voice. Their message is being amplified. They're gaining momentum, gaining power and traction, And the people who are stifling their voices because they're embarrassed to not be aligned with mainstream, they're not being heard. And so they're not gaining momentum. They're not growing. And that's how you get stuck in the cycle of suppression. So if you can't do this for yourself, even though this is the most beautiful self-development journey out there, like, we're in such a beautiful time to be able to just sit in front of cameras and share our perspectives. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people out there who think the same way as you, but are too embarrassed and too scared to say something about it. Be the voice that you want to hear, because your voice needs to be heard. Please.